Oh, no. No. Hey. Oh, another one? Okay. Oh, at least I'm not going to get hit by... Oh. With the bullet bill, too? Uh... Oh, Mario Kart Wii. It's not time for that one yet, but it'll be coming here soon. Anyway, how do you do, folks? Jagger Newman here for the Game Reserve. Yeah, so there's not going to be a live showcase this week because this weekend me and my old man are headed down to Gainesville for the drag races. Thankfully, me and the MLG Panda recorded a showcase for Mario Kart DS last time she was here, so I'm going to go ahead and post that. It's funny how when I go to the drag races, that seems to be part of what I end up showing on stream, so yeah, I guess it's fitting. But I also needed an idea for a live stream, not a live stream, a vlog. So what I thought I'd do is go ahead and, give some thoughts on, the items in Mario Kart. Mario Kart is a series that has a surprisingly high skill ceiling, I find, and a big part of that is primarily because of the items. Like, there's a lot of different nuance in using the items to both defend and offensively as well. So what I wanted to do here is not necessarily give my thoughts on what I think are the best items in Mario Kart, because I have a hard time doing that, because like the ones I think are the best of Mario Kart are, ones that I can't really figure out which ones are better than others. They all have their uses. But what I mostly settled on were items that either frustrate the hell out of me or are just utterly useless in my experience. So we're going to be looking at all the major releases in the Mario Kart series and just, talk about some of the items, ones that irritate me and ones that just are completely and utterly useless. So the first one I want to talk about is the lightning. Now, I'm starting with this one because of all the items I'm going to talk about here, the lightning is easily the most useful of the bunch. So essentially what happens with the lightning is you activate it and everyone in the field gets zapped with a bolt of lightning. This causes them to shrink, which also makes them slower. And as you are driving around, you can also run them over and squish them, which will bring them to a dead stop for a few seconds and allow you to get even further ahead. If you use lightning, you are basically going to move up a couple of positions, but it's balanced out by the fact that it's something you're really only going to get if you're towards the back of the pack. So if lightning is so useful, why is it that it annoys me so much? Well, the primary reason for it, and I'm probably going to sound really arrogant for saying this, but it primarily has to do with the fact that I'm pretty good at Mario Kart, all things considered. If I had to rate my skills on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say I'm a solid 7, maybe pushing an 8. But because of that, I'm usually up towards the front of the pack, so I rarely ever roll a lightning when I get an item block. And because of that, I'm mostly on the receiving end, and the lightning just infuriates me because there'll be times when I'm dueling with the MLG Panda, like we're neck and neck for the finish. I have just the item that I need to pull out of first place, pass her at the last second, but then the damn lightning goes off and I drop my item. That's another effect of the lightning, and all of a sudden all the momentum going forward is gone and I just can't pull out a win against the MLG Panda. It's a great item and it's satisfying when you do get it, but I rarely ever get it, and most of the time I'm just on the receiving end of it. So yeah, not a big fan of the lightning in Mario Kart. And this does sort of segue nicely into the lightning's buddy, which is the blue shell. So what the blue shell does, I think everyone knows what the blue shell does. You launch this thing, and it'll move up the field and target the person who is in first place, often sending them airborne, and recently with an added explosion as well. Now, the blue shell is probably the single most infamous item in Mario Kart because of how aggravating it is. We've all had it. You're about to get first place, but then you get nailed with the blue shell right before the finish line, and you get triple star score suddenly drops to a 2-star score, and like it really is aggravating. But the blue shell wasn't a major problem in its initial appearances. In Mario Kart 64 and Mario Kart Super Circuit, the blue shell honestly wasn't that bad, and that was mostly because if you fired it, it would stay on the ground. So it would take out some parts of the field and allow you to get ahead a little bit. But in Double Dash, some nitwit at Nintendo thought it'd be a good idea to give the blue shell wings. Because of that, it started to fly over the field instead of go through it. Now, why is that a problem? Well, it's quite simple. Now it only targets the person in first place. So all the blue shell really boils down to is trolling whoever is in first place, punishing them for being good at the game, and ruining their race, likely. And while a lot of people might say that's part of Mario Kart, well, I would agree if it wasn't for the fact that by using the blue shell, you're not really gaining an advantage. I mean, like, it's not like it's helping you gain a position. I'm glad for Mario Kart 8 that they went back to having it run along the ground, because like I was just getting really tired of that thing just only targeting whoever's in first place. I'm glad that they nixed that and started throwing in counters for it as well. Now we're getting into the items that I tend to list as particularly useless. And the first one that comes to mind is the Boo. Now, in concept, the Boo actually isn't that bad. So what happens with the Boo is you use it and you turn invisible. And while you're invisible, you can't be targeted for items. And yeah, that's a good feature. It gives you a nice respite from the items, which is nice. But the problem is you don't really get a performance boost from it, so it's not really helping you. The most advantage that you're going to get from the Boo in regards to moving up a placement is if the person behind you happens to have a red shell, you activate the Boo, go invisible, they use that red shell, and they nail the guy in front of you, allowing you to move up a position. But odds are that's not going to be the case. More often than not, you're just going to, as I said, get a brief respite from the items. There is an added feature of the Boo in that it will also steal an item from someone else, and a lot of people might say, well, that's a great feature, isn't it? Not necessarily. Like, it's not like it's gonna steal you a blue shell, lightning, or an invincibility star. Now, that's not to say that it can't. It most certainly can, but the odds of that happening are slim to none, primarily because those are items that people are very eager to use. So as soon as they get them, they're liable to just activate them immediately. So the chances of you activating a Boo before they activate that is just slim to none. So yeah, and there's also a chance that the Boo will just give you nothing because you might be in first place, you activate a Boo, and you try to steal an item before anyone else has got an item. So yeah, it can still be a good item at times, but it's a very situational one, that's for sure. Next up is the one that a lot of people probably aren't aware is even an item in Mario Kart, and that's the feather. So what does the feather do? Well, it essentially gives you the ability to jump. And that's about all there is to it. It's while in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it does have some added benefits of giving you a speed boost and allowing you to steal items, but odds are it's going to be a lot harder to pull off with that than it would be like, say, a mushroom and double dash or something like that. And in the original Mario Kart, the feather was, in essence, just useless. I mean, sure, you could maybe jump over a banana or an incoming green shell, but the feather was primarily used for shortcuts. So basically, you wanted to hang on to the feather in order to, jump a gap or something. But if you're doing that, you're basically holding up your item slot and won't be able to use any other items, which, isn't a good thing. Now, it's common for Mario Kart tracks to have, shortcuts that require a specific item. The most common are jumps that you need a boost to clear. But the thing is, a mushroom is still something that you might want to use before you reach that shortcut. And it also has some added benefits to it as well. If you time it just right, you could knock a opponent aside. In Mario Kart Wii, you could actually use it to avoid a blue shell. So, you just get more mileage out of a mushroom than you ever would a feather. So, yeah, it's kind of a useless power-up, which is probably why it's not a terribly popular item in Mario Kart. I think it's only ever appeared in the first game and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I wasn't even aware it was in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe until I found this video that you're watching here. But of course, the item that I find to be the most useless in Mario Kart is the loose coin power-up. So essentially what this does is you get a coin, and that is all it is. Now, I understand the benefit of the coins in Mario Kart. The more you collect, the faster you go, and if you get 10, you're basically getting a nice speed boost. However, the coin power-up is just pointless because you only get one coin, and that's not going to make a whole lot of difference in a race. And it also doesn't help that, let's say you're in first place, you get the coin power-up. Odds are the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to get nailed with the red shell, so you're probably just going to drop that coin, because you drop coins when you get hit with any kind of item. So, yeah, there isn't any kind of benefit to getting the coin. The speed boost that you would get from it is marginal, barely noticeable. It has no offensive means, it has no defensive means. When you get a coin in Mario Kart 8, the game is just kind of laughing at you. It's like, oh, you want a good item? Oh, well, here's a coin. And I don't know what it is, but I always seem to get coin on the first lap of the first track, and it just aggravates me. But yeah, those are some thoughts I have on certain items in the Mario Kart series that I find to be either aggravating or just outright useless. But you know what? I'd love to hear what you guys think of it. What is your most hated item in Mario Kart? I'm curious if most people would still say the blue shell, or if it's something like the lightning, the bullet bill, or maybe you just really hate the red shells or something like that. Leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear what everyone says about it, but please be civil. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the video tomorrow, and I will see you guys next weekend.